A number of adults were asked how much they would be willing to pay to visit an ancient monument. The results are summarized in the table. Okay, so it says a number of adults, doesn't it? Okay, here. Whereas in the previous question, they told you, didn't they? They told you it was 100 boxes of raisins or whatever. Okay, 40 golf balls. Here it just says a number of adults. They're not telling us how many. Okay, but the results then were summarized here. Now, we can actually work out how many, can't we? By adding all these up. And that's the first step I would do, actually. Okay, I would get the total frequency. Remember now, this represents number of adults is just a frequency, isn't it? How many? So if I add them up, okay, 74 it comes to. Okay, it's a strange value, but that's what my calculator says, and I'm confident I've typed in everything correctly there. Okay, so 74, that is the frequency. So up here I could even write 74 up there, couldn't I? Okay, but that value is important for the question. Okay, it's in part 1, and it says calculate an estimate for the mean amount of money the adults will be willing to pay. Now, remember here, grouped frequencies, because it is much smarter, easier to deal with the data, okay? And you, even though it's an estimate, you still get really useful information from it, okay? And really accurate, very accurate information. Okay, so they've grouped these into small groups, and basically you've got 32 adults here who have said they're willing to pay somewhere between this range. Now you might have one adult saying, oh, I'll pay £2.50, another adult saying, I pay £2.75, or another adult saying £3.10. Okay, it's all quite random probably, but it would fit in this group here. And what we'll do is, just to get an estimate for this sort of price range, we'll take the midpoint, okay, the midpoint, and the midpoint here is going to be £2.50. Okay, if you think about it, between 1 and 4, the middle value is going to be £2.50. And if you're not confident on why that's the case, remember, as I said in the previous questions, if you add those two values together, you get 5, don't you? And then halve it, that will give you the middle value. So half of 5 is £2.50. The same here, 4 and 7, add them, that gives you 11. Half of 11 is £5.50. Okay, and then here, then add these 17. Half of 17 is £8.50, and then you can do the same here, and you actually get £11.50. Okay, so to get the mean there, remember then you do, well, there's 32 adults that would basically, they'd be happy enough to pay around £2.50. So 32 lots of £2.50. So we times these, remember, right? Always multiply these. Then you've got 26 adults happy to pay £5.50. So we can add that onto it. Remember with mean, we add all the values up. Then you've got 14 adults happy to pay £8.50. Okay, and then you've got 2 adults happy to pay £11.50. All right. So we'll make all those calculations. We're adding them all up. Divide them by how many are there. And that's why I did this to start with, right? 74. That's what we need to be dividing by. Okay, how many adults are there in total? Okay. Now, first thing I'll do now is work out all these calculations. So I'll do 32 times £2.50, which is 80. 26 times £5.50, which is 143. 14 times £8.50, which is 119. And then 2 times £11.50, which will be 23. Okay, divide all that then by 74, the amount of adults that took part in this survey. So let's just add the top numbers first. Okay, so if I add them up, I think I've done that correctly on my calculator. Yeah, 365 in fact. Divide them by 74. So if I work that out, I get out a price to be, well, I've got, if you notice in my calculator, I've got this, right, 4.9324. Well, I'm only interested in 2 decimal places, because it's money, so that'll be £4.93, okay? And that's it, okay? That would be the average price they're willing to pay. So, and again, it lies in there, doesn't it? It's a sensible amount. And they'd expect it to be at the lower end, okay, not at the higher end here. Because at the higher end, if you notice, there's not many people that have chosen the higher end, mainly lower end, okay? And then part 2 then it says find the greatest value of the range, okay, greatest value of the range. Now the range, remember, is highest, take away lowest, okay? Highest, take away lowest. Now the highest, okay, the highest possible value. Well, if you think about it, the highest value is going to be in this range here, this price here. Now, what would the highest price someone would be willing to pay if you think about it? If it lies in this range here, what would the highest someone would be willing to pay? Well, you'd think it'd be as much as £13, wouldn't you? Because it doesn't go beyond 13. And you could say that, couldn't you? Up to 13. But in fact, right, this inequality symbol here means it's got to be less than 13. Okay? Can't equal 13. If there was a line underneath it, you could say it could equal 13, but it can't equal 13, right? It's got to be less than 13. So the highest that person could actually be, if he's in that group, and remember there are 2 adults in this group, okay, 2 adults somewhere here, the highest price they could have actually picked would be £12.99, okay? Can't be 13, right? Because you can't equal it, it's got to be less than it. So £12.99 is the highest. What's the lowest they could have picked? Well, we go to the lower group there. And if you look at the inequality here, the lowest amount could be £1, yeah? Because you can actually equal £1. When you've got a line underneath, it could equal £1. So possibly an adult in there said £1, okay? So the lowest they'd be willing to pay is £1. So if you work that out, then the range then would, of course, be £11.99, okay?